From Mountain Lions Stadium on the campus of the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs, we bid you welcome to 2019 RMAC Women's Soccer Championship action, where today the number one team in the nation, the UCCS Mountain Lions, look to make their third consecutive trip to the RMAC Championship match, standing in their way, looking for a bid for their second consecutive year to the NCAA playoffs, the number 4 seed in this tournament, the Westminster Griffins. Hello again, everyone. Doug Klein coming along with you across the various platforms of the RMAC network, courtesy today of the UCCS Media Services and UCCS Sports. So thrilled to be with you, and we'll be right back with you as we get ready for the national anthem. And we are looking forward to an outstanding match this afternoon. This entire quarterfinal weekend has been a rematch of last year's RMAC quarterfinals. UCCS on Friday night knocked off CSU Pueblo 5-0, and in the nightcap of that doubleheader, the Griffins took care of Regis 2-0 to advance to this afternoon's game. That was an identical pairing to last year's quarterfinal match and an identical rematch today of last year's semifinal. Last year, UCCS and Westminster played to a 1-1 draw through 110 minutes and then went to PKs where the Mountain Lions prevailed and then moved on to the RMAC Championship last season. The only thing different this year, the side of the bracket has switched. UCCS comes in as the number 1 seed, Westminster the number 4. The other half of the bracket is also getting ready to get underway up in Golden, Colorado, and that's with Colorado School of Mines taking on the Metro State Roadrunners, and the winners of each of those matches next week, Saturday afternoon, will play for the RMAC Championship. UCCS, by virtue of their number 1 seed, if they advance, they will host that match. And regardless, the top remaining seed will host next Saturday's match. And make no mistake, today Westminster wants it and wants it bad. They are on the doorstep of being in that all-important top 6 in the NCAA South Central Regional that will get them the bid. After their win on Friday night, they, at least by my calculations after crunching some numbers when the Lone Star Conference finished play yesterday, Westminster looks to be right now in a dead heat with Lubbock Christian for the number 6 spot in the regionals. Obviously, there's a lot of soccer to play before the November 18th NCAA selection show, but Westminster, with a result today, will certainly catapult themselves into a stronger position for the NCAAs, and they know it, and they also want a bit of revenge over these Mountain Lions. In the regular season matchup, the Mountain Lions on this pitch won 3-0. That was the only time all season that Westminster has given up 3 goals in a match. For the Mountain Lions, once again, a little bit of a different starting lineup. Almost every match, players have to earn their way into the starting lineup. The biggest change today, Zoe Sims gets the start at midfield. Savannah Mills and Tanner Sanders will be the forwards as UCCS looks to be coming out in a 4-4-2. The goalkeeper matchup today, an incredible one. Molly Swift, the freshman for UCCS. She is RMAC second team, and Hillary Wexler for Westminster. Wexler, honorable mention, and we'll talk more about her and the 2 strong center backs that play with her as this match is underway. The 2019 semifinals of the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. And right away, Ella Fisher goes up for a one-on-one challenge. Fisher deemed to have taken too much of that position, and up comes Mikkel Kellogg, also RMAC's second team, along with backline mate Micah Frederick. Kellogg puts it near post, looks to go right into the center, and Swift with the first save of the afternoon inside the first minute of the match. Swift comes into this match with a .441 goals against average. She's only allowed 6 goals all season. The other 2 goals were allowed by goalkeeper tandem mate Lexi Walker. Swift has had the bulk of the minutes. Swift has played over 1,200 minutes. Lexi Walker with over 400 as we have a Westminster throw coming up. That's Elisa Muir who collected it for the Mountain Lions, an RMAC first teamer. The senior could pass a minutes played milestone this afternoon. Caitlin Esterly for the Mountain Lions has it over on the far side, and she just sends it back to Swift. Swift brings it to center back today, Allie Samuels. Samuels, the first start in a few matches as she's back after concussion protocol. She got a few minutes of playing time last Sunday in the regular season finale, sat out the entire quarterfinal match against CSU Pueblo, and she gets the nod today. In part, that's because Jaden Davis, who has been a normal starter at outside back, she's out this entire weekend as she's coming back after concussion protocol. So therefore, the Mountain Lions forced to make a little bit of an adjustment on the back line. Jade Kinsey gets the start at the right outside back for the Mountain Lions. Kinsey has played a lot of minutes at center back as this season has gone on. A good challenge just inside the attacking third, and that foul is called on Savannah Mills of the Mountain Lions, so it'll be another direct kick. Kellogg getting ready to put it in play. We have not had a chance to talk about Hillary Wexler yet. Wexler comes in with a .54 goals against average. And Wexler is the #1 all-time in saves. Here's a cross early on by the Griffins. A bit dangerous. UCCS able to clean that up, and now they start back. That was Sinead Hopcroft trying to send it ahead to herself. Just a bit of a rotation too far. Kellogg patiently there to just sweep it out of danger. And the ball now loose in the midfield area. Popped up. Tanner Sanders gets it to the back line, and it's now pushed into the box, and Wexler has it on her foot. No pressure, so Wexler chooses to distribute it up the left flank. Esterly for the Mountain Lions there first. Quick touch ahead to Sanders. Sanders briefly got a boot on it, stays with it, now drops it out for the charging Fisher. That is broken up by Kawanui. And Westminster takes possession and tries to come back. Esterly just able to turn that back to her goalkeeper, Swift. That's Emma Hine causing some disruption as Swift and Muir play a little catch. And now the Mountain Lions try to break out. Fisher puts it left wing for Sanders. Sanders is stopped by Kellogg, dispossessed, sends it back to line mate Frederick, and Frederick just pushes it into empty space. Swift comes over to pick that up. Micah Frederick was key in the scoreline on the Friday night quarterfinal against Regis. Frederick had a highlight reel goal, just drilled a ball on a rope from 40 yards for the first goal of the night, and then was credited with an assist on the second goal of the match, and that's what got Westminster to this point. Swift forced to come out as that was pressure put on. That was Alexa Maple who came in there to add the pressure. And now Allie Samuels and the Mountain Lions try to start back and create something. Kellogg and Sanders, that's going to be a good challenge. Now a combination, looking for Hopcroft in the center, top of the arc, spins, drops it ahead. Savannah Mills goes over the crossbar. So first shot attempt of the afternoon for the Mountain Lions goes high, and Wexler brings it out to put it at the top of the six. So we talked a little bit about the NCAA rankings. Coming into this weekend, UCCS was number 1, Dallas Baptist, number 2, Colorado School of Mines, 3rd, Texas Women's 4, Dixie State 5, St. Edward's 6, and then it was Westminster and Lubbock Christian, and that ball coming over toward our position and rolls out. And we have a terrific position here on the field today. It's much more like a basketball match. So on the south end of the stadium, we are within a few steps of the touchline. So we may get a ball or two over here, may have to protect the monitor. This is down in the heat of the action. The Mountain Lions, if you're just tuning in, are moving from right to left and in their home black uniforms with the white paneling on the shoulders and gold trim. And Westminster wearing all white today, moving from left to right in this first half. Wexler comes out, runs into her own player, and actually going down and coming up slow after that collision with her netminder. And that was Amy Kerr first, who took the worst of that blow. UCCS winds up with the throw about 20 yards away from the goal line. Savannah Mills tries to weave that into Sanders. Sanders tries to make the turn, comes towards the top of the 18, looks for the drop. That was broken up by Maple, but the Mountain Lions put it right back into the mix, but Kellogg there to get it out of trouble. Zoe Sims with her first touch of the afternoon pushes ahead. Mills knocked down. UCCS bench wanted a call, none coming. Samuels for the Mountain Lions on the back line to collect that and sends it over to Kate Esterly, who has some space and starts the advance. That's nicely broken up as Esterly was winding up, and that was deflected. And back comes Westminster. Good one-on-one challenge. Getting there first was Maple. Now out to Hanson and just puts it toward net, and Swift easily able to pick that up. So back to the NCAA rankings. With Dixie State's draw in the quarterfinals and St. Edward's regular season loss this weekend, it looks to be, and this is not official by any stretch, this is just putting some numbers together based on the performance indicator, which is one of the major influencing factors in establishing the NCAA final rankings. It appears that St. Edward's would fall out. Dixie State, because of the draw on neutral turf against a quality side in Metro State, probably earned enough points to maintain their number 5 position, even though that lead narrows. And as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it appears that Westminster and Lubbock Christian are in that dead heat for the final playoff position. The Lone Star Conference just completed their regular season yesterday, so their conference tournament begins on Tuesday. So lots of opportunities for positions to change in those rankings. And a foul called over there on the far side as Mills was knocked down again. So UCCS will get the direct kick from about 30 yards out. Westminster holding the line at the 18. It's a chip just inside the box, popped up, loose ball easily collected by Wexler. That header came off of Hopcroft. Don't know if the microphones picked that up. Wexler not pleased with that punt at all. She was hoping to drive it, and it popped up and goes out for a throw. We are in the 12th minute of the match. Scoreless here at Mountain Lions Stadium. I mentioned UCCS won the regular season match on this pitch 3-0. The first goal came in the first half on a set play. And from a UCCS perspective, set plays and changing fields has to be part of the formula in order to beat Wexler and this strong back line. UCCS allowed 8 goals on the season. Westminster only allowed 10 goals on the season. And as we mentioned, 3 of those were right here. So if you look at the other 17 matches, the Griffins only allowed 7 goals. And in fact, Westminster actually had, there's a foul that's on Westminster, and it'll be a UCCS direct kick. Just goes back to the keeper to try to start the attack. Now Westminster pushes it in, but the offside flag is up, indicating that the Griffins started in the offside position and came forward to collect that. Frederick easily able to get there first, drop it to Wexler, who just drives it. And Swift will be able to come over and get that. So the Griffins actually had 11 shutouts on the season. UCCS has had 10. But then UCCS has only allowed no more than 1 goal, and that occurred in 8 different matches, as UCCS sits at 18-0-0. and #1 in the nation and #1 in the South Central region rankings. Meanwhile, Westminster, they allowed a single goal 5 times, a pair of goals once, and then the 3 spot that they gave up to the Mountain Lions earlier in the season. So 2 strong defensive clubs. UCCS a bit more firepower. UCCS has scored 64 times on the year, and Westminster 28. And obviously that fact is not lost on the Westminster coaching staff. This is a team that you are going to have a tough time controlling, so you have to figure out how to contain. And meanwhile, UCCS knows they're up against a solid back line, and I'm already noticing early on they're doing one of the things that I wanted to watch for, which is they're defending a bit narrower. The outside backs are staying in the mix. Now here's an opportunity. Hopcroft was past Kellogg onside, but the pass wasn't strong enough. She puts a low drive on net. Wexler, no problems with that one, and she adds another save to her all-time lead in Griffin's net. Huge punt, big one bouncer. Muir on the back line for the Mountain Lions, tracks that down, pushes it towards the touchline, goes out, called a foul. Muir actually clipped the boot of, double checking who that is, I think that might have been Hansen that she dropped. Yep, so Hansen and Maple talking about who's going to take it. It's Alexa Maple who's on it, chooses to go short. Hansen, nice turn, frees up the right foot, puts it right in front, and cleared out by the Mountain Lions, but a dangerous opportunity for the Griffins. Kawanui to take the throw. Westminster was highly energized on Friday. If you were with us for the streaming, the bench was into the match the entire 90 minutes. Cold night, much different situation here today. There's a turnover by the Mountain Lions and an opportunity for Westminster. Samuel's able to get back on defense to prevent it for the moment, but Maple right back and pushes it to the outside. Looks for Kerr first, puts it into the center. Muir gets there first, drops to Kawanui's foot, and then coming back was Hopcroft to break that up. Hopcroft tries to break out of the pack and looks to switch fields and go right wing for Mills. Mills can't get there in time, and it'll be a throw for the Griffins. So in the last couple of minutes, the Griffins clearly with the better of the play. Pushed ahead, but much too far, and that'll go out for a goal kick. So we are about to complete the 19th minute. Samuel's forced to turn by Maple, back to Swift. She gets the low drive. That only finds the boots of white jerseys. And now it'll be a UCCS throw right in front of their own bench. As we enter the 20th minute of this scoreless semifinal match. Last year's semifinal that pitted these two squads against each other up in Golden went to halftime at 1-1, no scoring in the second half or in either of the two overtimes, and then that led to the PKs in which the Mountain Lions prevailed. But Westminster, quality enough season, enough performance indicator points, they received their first ever bid to the NCAA tournament. And here's an opportunity for the Mountain Lions. The offside flag is up. Hopcroft a bit frustrated with that call. She thought she had it timed. And so there's a case. You can see that oftentimes the back line for Westminster plays the U shape with Frederick and Kellogg anchoring the back and Reiber and Kawanui. Well, and actually, that's Balthasar moving up the flanks. And so that leaves a lot of gaps. And against a powerful Mountain Lions squad, they may need to tighten that up just a bit.
Number 19, Nicolette Sandoval, and number 21, Mitzi Ramirez.
You may have heard the call. Mitzi Ramirez and Nicolette Sandoval make their way onto the pitch for the Mountain Lions. Bit of a challenge, but Westminster had plenty of numbers back there to disrupt it. Now Samuels momentarily was beat, but cleaning it up was Esterly and touching it back to her goalkeeper. Momentarily, Esterly has trouble with it. The hand signal by the referee would indicate he thought there might have been a foul, but he's allowing advantage. Now it's pushed ahead for Mills. Can she get there first to get the touch past Kellogg? And Kellogg, a stalwart. She and Frederick are one of the toughest center back combos in the league, and showing that early on. Apparently the ball shaggers not on that side of the field, or they were short of ball. It took a while to retrieve the ball. The center referee lets the clock run, and now the throw comes back in. Looking for Hopcroft. Hopcroft had a heck of a game in that regular season match. She was involved in all 3 goals with a goal and 2 assists. Kelsey Lanham with possession, back to Samuels. Again, you can see in this first half, Westminster has not stopped moving. They are swarming to the ball. One of the things to watch as this game progresses, will that generate a fatigue factor in the second half if the score remains tight? Ball deemed to have gone off the Griffins, and it's a UCCS throw, goes back into Samuels. Samuels elects to just take the space and start the advance to Lanham. Back to Samuels, sent over near our position, goes out for the throw. That's Muir who gets in there to bust it up. Drops it back to Esterly. Esterly keeps it on the ground, wide for Mills. and then just sent back down into space. So we mentioned that Westminster looking for their second trip to the NCAA and the second consecutive year. The Mountain Lions looking for their third consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament. The first round will kick off on November 22nd. UCCS with the throw right in front of us. Sandoval drops it ahead for Sanders. Sanders puts the cross, but too far, no runners coming in. And once again, Kellogg able to disrupt that enough to force Sanders into less than the quality touch that she was hoping for. Now loose ball. Kinsey steps up to put that in. You can see Samuel shading her eyes. This was a noon start, Mountain Time. Beautiful day here in Colorado Springs. 60 degrees. But this time of the sun a bit lower on the horizon, tracking to the south. So the side that has to defend the north goal will have the tougher go of it for the entire afternoon. Fortunately for the players, there's just some wispy clouds that are covering the sun, so it's not as brilliant of a sunshine and a distraction as it could have been. That's Ramirez for the Mountain Lions, who pushes it over to Muir. Muir ahead to Sandoval. Back to Muir, but it was deflected for a UCCS throw. If you hear the fans, our broadcast position is closest to the visitor side of the stands. Now that ball ahead for Sandoval. She's going to get there first. Frederick coming over to defend her. The drop. And that was Balthasar who was there. Does the slide tackle, unsuccessful. Sanders takes the left-footed shot, and Wexler forced to push it over the crossbar. That was going to be close, whether it was going to tuck right underneath or go over. Wexler had to make the stop, and that yields a corner kick. So this will be the first corner kick of the afternoon. Tanner Sanders, the freshman, the all-time leading scorer for the Mountain Lions in her freshman season. Sanders comes in with 11 goals and 5 assists. She'll take the corner. UCCS their runs. Tanner stops, drops it, and just getting ready to slide under the 17-minute mark. So 17 minutes now remaining in the first half. It's scoreless. We invite you to stay with us at halftime as the executive director for athletics for the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, Nate Gibson, will be joining us. So we'll look forward to speaking with him and talking about some of the great things going on, not only on campus, but in the city, as Colorado Springs was awarded the 2021 men's and women's Final Four. So 2 years from now, this city will be abuzz as the 8 squads that comprise the men's and women's Final Four make their way into the Pikes Peak region. And for those of you watching around the country that have not had the good fortune to be here, because we're with the UCCS Media Services broadcast today, we're positioned on the east side of the field, so occasionally you get the incredible views of Pikes Peak and the Rocky Mountain Front Range. That was a drop back, no runners coming. Westminster had 4 to break that up. Hopcroft tracks back, doesn't get a strong touch on it, so it goes to Westminster, who just pushes it into their attacking end. Swift tries to hook it down the touchline to find Sandoval. Caitlin Hinkle, another of the super freshmen on this UCCS squad, just into the match, gets her first touch. Now Hinkle getting ready to make the run as Esterly steps up, and now it's pushed forward. It's a foot race. If the Mountain Lions are quick, they have a 2-on-1. The cutback broken up by Kellogg. And then a foul on the Mountain Lions. There must have been a bit of discussion that center referee Jason Hampton wasn't pleased with. He was trying to clear that out. That touch goes off of Ramirez, but Samuel's able to back it up and then just kick it out. Actually, it stays in along the far touchline. And then a hard knock. I think that's Mills who went down hard. As soon as we can make out the number, we'll confirm that. No, that's actually Kinsey. So Jade Kinsey is playing right outside back. She takes the knock. Kinsey was out. This is her freshman year. She was out about the first month of the season with an injury, and she has worked her way into lots of minutes this last month. Tries to time the pass over Kellogg to Hinkle. Not enough gas on that to get past Kellogg. The senior surveys what her teammates are giving her. She's requesting a couple players to move more toward the center. Puts it toward the far post. That's headed away by the Mountain Lions. Hinkle gets there to just knock it out for the throw. And some more subs come in for each side. Kroll checks in. Kroll had some fantastic minutes in the second half against Regis in the quarterfinal to help secure that 2-0 victory. Late in that match, in fact, 89th minute late, the Rangers had a PK that Wexler stopped to preserve the clean sheet. So that was just softly sent into net. Swift up to the task. We are in the 34th minute, still scoreless here at Mountain Lions Stadium. That's popped briefly over the back line. Wexler saw that coming. Hopcroft had no chance to get there. So right now, shots on goal, it shows 3-1 in favor of the Mountain Lions. Hansen turns, pushes it through to Jeffries. Now looking for Balthasar on the outside. She's able to keep it in. And actually, she would have been better off letting that go out for a throw, but instead it's a goal kick, so. Back come the Mountain Lions. Challenge over there, and Kroll just in earns a foul in her first minute of play. Esterly trying to get her forces directed. Lots of movement. Reiber is shadowing Hopcroft. And then that ball just goes, from a UCCS perspective, into nowhere, no danger, no threat. Wexler able to pick that up. Tightly defended first half by both sides. Looking for the threat on the big one hopper, and Swift holds her ground and just collects it. We've seen in this sport plenty of times a keeper makes that mistaken step out, and then a big bounce like that is over their head. So Hinkle may have had Wexler beat on that if she could have found frame. Nice move by the freshman. We are in the 37th minute now, scoreless, in this 2019 RMAC semifinal match. That's Samuels shielding the ball and allowing it to go out so that the Mountain Lions get the throw. Muir calling a couple of her teammates over, throws it into Ramirez, who drops it back to Samuels, and she just sends it across for her keeper. And that's to Esterly now, who brings it up the right flank. Esterly has some time, then just pushes it too far ahead, and Wexler again playing the entire area well, able to collect that. "38th minute, that bounce momentarily eludes Mountain Lions. It's through, shot Jeffries high. So Westminster trying to cause disruption on the UCCS back line to create mistakes and then hopefully gain an open shot. There was one of those cases, and Jeffries just put it over the crossbar. Now a bit of a miscue at midfield, and Westminster able to gain the turnover. Then that ball is pushed back too far. Hinkle, not enough time to get back there. Balthazar there first sends it back to Wexler, and Wexler again with the big kick puts it into the attacking third. Hansen heads it weakly, and Swift keeps it in play, takes it toward the top of her area, and then just pushes it ahead for Samuels. Samuels to Hopcroft. Dropped to Amelia Jungi, the sophomore just recently into the match. Back to the feet of Jungi. That's broken up by Keeley. And then a foul pretty much right at the midfield stripe. And had a chance to create a scoring opportunity. You can see Molly Swift covering her eyes. Kellogg chooses to go short. Frederick, with that dangerous left foot, puts it into trouble. Swift forced to make the lunge and the save. So a 40th minute shot on net by the Griffins. We remain scoreless. Hinkle heads that forward. No other Mountain Lions there, so Kellogg able to push that out. Subs coming in for the final 5 minutes of the half.
Number 18, Madison Smith.
You can perhaps hear the call from the PA. Madison Schmidt into the match for the Griffins. Jungi drops it back to Samuels. Samuels goes square to Esterly on the right side. Tries to get it ahead to Hinkle, who loses her footing. And now it comes back to the Mountain Lion back line. Lanham with the drop. Esterly. Hopcroft timed her run. Except the assistant referee on the far side disagrees with the timing, and offside called once again. Mountain Lions push it forward for Muir, but not enough of an angle. Kellogg saw that coming, easily able to break it up for the Griffins. And now Hopcroft gets through traffic. She tries to beat two. Now she tries to push it ahead, but Sandoval not able to get there in time as Wexler stepped out to pick that up. Wexler once again looking for the big bounce. It was Hanson who tried to get through, but Muir was up to the task defensively for the Mountain Lions. That was broken up briefly and deemed to be a foul. So a direct kick for Westminster, much to the objection of the UCCS bench and most of their fans. We are on the same side of the field in our broadcast position as the stands, but as we gaze down, it looks like pretty full, as you might expect, with number one team in the nation on a gorgeous Sunday in Colorado Springs. That ball goes over everyone and will yield a goal kick to the Mountain Lions. 43rd minute, 0-0. UCCS with the slight shot advantage, 3-2 in shots on frame. So that's pushed to Esterly as we enter the final 120 seconds of the first half. Broken up at midfield. UCCS will get the throw deep in their own end. It's sent into Samuels. 100 seconds remaining, first half. Hopcroft makes a turn. Up to Hinkle. Hinkle with the drop and the miscue. And now Jeffries picks it up, but no runners in the vicinity for the Griffins, and Swift comes way out of her area without any pressure. She drives it into the center circle. Kroll gets the better of that challenge with Sandoval.
1 minute remaining in the first half. 1 minute remaining in the first half.
We've just entered the final 60 seconds of the half. No score. This would be only the 7th time all season that the Mountain Lions have been held scoreless in a half. Sandoval takes the turn, shoots, that goes wide, no threat. 20 seconds remain in half number one. Once again, we invite you to stay tuned as UCCS Executive Director of Athletics, Nate Gibson, will be joining us. We will take a quick wrap up, show you a highlight package, then a short break before Nate joins us. And there it is, halftime, the first 45 minutes of this semifinal match between the number 1 seed UCCS Mountain Lions and the number 4 seed Westminster Griffins is in the books. With no score, UCCS with the slight 3-2 lead in shots on goal. Pretty even match. You might say there were a few better opportunities for the Mountain Lions, but there were some miscues in the Mountain Lion defensive end, which created some chances for For 5 minutes, and then we will check back in with you with about 10 minutes to go before the kickoff of the second half, and we'll have our interview with the Executive Director of Athletics, Nate Gibson. So as we get ready to step out, your halftime score in this semifinal, the UCCS Mountain Lions 0, the Westminster Griffins 0. You are watching the 2019 RMAC Women's Soccer Championship, brought to you by UCCS Sports across the various platforms of the RMAC network. Everything elevated.
The mountain lion is one of the strongest members of the feline family. The average mountain lion lives 5 times a day and consumes up to 3 times its weight in protein. It shares many characteristics with its domestic counterparts, the good and the bad. UCCS, find your inner mountain lion. The majestic mountain lion, the perfect combination of size and deadly agility. This big cat is capable of speeds of 40 to 50 miles per hour, when properly motivated. UCCS, find your inner mountain lion.
I think one of the things I was really surprised by at UCCS was even though there are 11,000 students here, it feels like a small campus. So get to know the faculty really well.
You always get that one-on-one connection to your professor, you get to know your classmates, and it's just a really good learning environment.
The campus is amazing. Just getting to walk from building to building and see the view is really spectacular.
There's tons of support for students on campus. It comes from Excel centers and tutoring labs that they have.
There's always a lot of stuff to do on campus for active students like myself. I'm in a sorority on campus and I love the friends I've made there.
What I like most about UCCS is that we have a desire to grow and stretch ourselves and our push to become something greater.
When I was growing up, I always loved going outdoors, whether it was for biking, camping, skiing. And when I started looking for colleges, I naturally gravitated toward UCCS because it's in an area where all of those activities are still very easily accessible. A lot of my classes this semester are held in Dwyer Hall. I really enjoy studying in there because the way the building is built, it allows a lot of natural lighting to flow in, which makes studying a lot easier. Another thing I really love about this campus is that I can go pretty much anywhere and get an awesome view. I never feel like I'm too far from an adventure. Even within 30 minutes of campus, you've got places like Red Rock where you can go.
Welcome back to Mountain Lion Stadium at halftime of this semifinal match in the 2019 Women's Soccer Championship, where UCCS and Westminster are locked up 0-0. Doug Klein back with you, and joining me at halftime, the Executive Director of Athletics for the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, Nate Gibson. First of all, congratulations. This has been a great weekend. UCCS hosting this quarterfinal well, and I love the change this year of having the number 1 and 2 teams host the quarterfinals and the semis. That gives every squad 1 through 7 a chance if they get through to host the championship. Talk a little bit about how that change came about.
Yeah, so I think we just were really fortunate, obviously, to be a 1 seed this year, so that we feel like if we advance, we're obviously going to host, but it just creates a more competitive tournament. And I think particularly in women's soccer at the moment, there's a lot of really good teams in the RMAC, a lot of quality, and so finding a way to really improve it, because historically we played that Tuesday or Wednesday, Friday, Saturday format, so we really had to get all the teams to 1 or 2 spots. But by spreading it over 2 weekends, it really gives everybody a chance, and then see what happens. But it's been really fun to host it this weekend, and love having our home crowd, home field advantage. But no, it's just been a great tournament.
And that's a nice transition into the South Central region. The Lone Star Conference, the other half of the region, they're going to be playing their conference tournament next week in that Tuesday, Friday, Sunday mode. But you're part of the South Central Region Committee, and this is just incredibly competitive region.
No, and it's been really fun. And those national committees, you look at every team plays in the South Central for us, and there's any quality teams and teams that are really battling this time of year where every game just means that much more because the national tournament bid online. And what's exciting for us at the moment is to have the opportunity to host a national tournament is huge. So obviously not as a committee member, but as the athletic director, that's exciting. But at the same time, really trying to get into the numbers and evaluate which teams are going to qualify is really fun. And it's sometimes every week, depending on what the results are, you have to shuffle deck and reshuffle the deck, so there's no guarantees. But this time it's hugely important for everybody as they try to qualify for that national tournament.
And take us through a little bit of that calculation. I know it's largely based on the objective scale. I did a little number crunching last day after the Lone Star finished their regular season. I'm showing Westminster and Lubbock Christian right now pretty much a dead heat for that number 6 spot. But what's a normal week look like for you when you get into this time of year?
Right, so one game could really mean the difference between really jumping up with that performance index or a strength of schedule or a big win. And so we really start every week from kind of a blank slate, rewrite it, feel like every team that we try to match up and see where they're at. And so, yeah, but right now, particularly with how huge these games are, somebody could jump up or move down. In 2017, we were a great example. We were the 7 seed going in to the conference tournament and ended up jumping up to all the way to the 2 seed and hosting. So that just tells you how important every game is, and the committee really gets back into the numbers and reevaluates every team every week.
Now let's talk about a tremendous honor that has been bestowed upon the city, the RMAC, the university, and the planning is already underway. 2021, Colorado Springs has been awarded the Final Four for both the men's and the women's side of the soccer championship at the new stadium going up downtown. Quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, and it's kudos to the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference for taking the lead, and then the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, the city of Colorado Springs. Everybody really got on board with it. We were fortunate enough just to kind of be involved as well, just knowing that we're the local Division II school. So a really exciting time and just a great opportunity for the city to host the best soccer teams in Division II. And so excited to see the new Switchback Stadium come online downtown. And so just a ton of excitement around that. And we had the great press conference, about a month or so ago, and the mayor was there. I mean, there's just a lot of great community support, and no better way than to elevate Division II soccer, NCAA soccer, than by hosting a championship event like that.
And for those fans listening around the country, the Switchbacks are the Colorado Springs entry into the USL. And you mentioned that the new stadium going up downtown, and I believe I read this will be the college tournament will be the first non-USL activity at that stadium.
Right, I think that's the plan at the moment, and I think they were really excited just to say, like, hey, this is going to be more than just where the Switchbacks play. I could see them hosting, state championships and high school and club and youth tournaments and things like that to really showcase the quality of soccer, not only and then obviously with a national tournament, being able to host the best teams in the country. So I think we're going to across a bunch of different great organizations.
That's on your job as executive director of MLS. You've had the opportunity to see some just incredible growth on this campus. You've been with the program, what, about
14 years?
14 years and 3
Correct.
Current roles. So just talk to us about what you have seen from 14 years ago till now.
Well, it's been amazing. I mean, the campus, in terms of overall enrollment, really doubled in size. In terms of building and construction, I mean, every building on campus is brand new because campus has just exploded with growth. And I mean, you can see the setting. There's no better place to go to college, in my opinion, in Colorado Springs. Beautiful setting, wonderful school to be part of the University of Colorado system. And so obviously there's a lot of appeal, and I always say that's why we're growing the way that we do. You get to have a wonderful college experience in one of the best cities in the country, and so been fun to be a part of that. But then athletics has grown along with it. We have a much more traditional campus now that has an interest in what's going on campus. So they want to come to our sporting events, want to be a part of what we're doing, and it's been really fun to add new programs like having a women's lacrosse team, baseball. I mean, I was a part of adding women's soccer when we added this program about 10 years ago. So just been amazing to see the growth, and people want sports. They want to see the athletic program grow. And we've just still kind of I feel like we just kind of starting to scratch the surface with it. And you can see with obviously the quality of our women's soccer program, just a great place to be, and we can recruit great student athletes, and there's no better place in Division II than UCCS in my mind.
And talk a little bit about, and I think you've started to get to it, what a growing program that gets now on the national scene, what that means to you, the athletic department, and the campus overall.
Well, I mean, we can see the overall excitement from the campus. Everybody's on board, but just the excitement and having a team like women's soccer really elevates the expectations for everybody across the board because they see what they're able to do. They want to try to follow suit. But yeah, overall, just a lot of excitement. A lot of people on board with what we're doing.
Well, terrific. And that's the executive director responsible for athletics at UCCS, Nate Gibson. Nate, thanks so much for joining us at halftime.
Yeah, you bet.
Great insight. Appreciate that. So we will stay right here on the field as the referees come out and we get ready to start the second half of action. It is 0-0 at halftime. The winner of today's match advances to the championship match of the RMAC next Saturday. If it's UCCS, they will have the opportunity to host. If it's Westminster as the number 4 seed, they will either be going to Golden, Colorado School of Mines, or back home to take on MSU Denver, and we'll try to give you an update on that score in a couple minutes. So as we are getting ready for the players to take the field, let's take a little bit of a look at the stats from the first half. 3-2 in terms of shots in favor of the Mountain Lions. Overall shot attempts 8-3. And perhaps the most telling statistic, and it might be one you picked up on as you were watching the half, UCCS held about a 2-1 advantage in possession. The Griffins playing a little bit of a prevent defense, and the fact is not lost on the Griffins. If they would be able to get through 110 minutes with a draw, obviously every squad wants the win, but if they're able to get through the 110 minutes with a draw, it goes into the books officially as a draw, and that helps catapult them even more strongly onto the scene for a possible bid with the NCAA South Central Region Tournament. So the teams are lined up. They've switched ends. The Mountain Lions with the kickoff, moving left to right in this half, wearing their black kits with the white on the shoulders. And right away, Westminster heading north to south, right to left, gains the turnover, pushes it through trouble. You may have heard goalkeeper Molly Swift, as Allie Samuels was ready to clear that out. Swift called for it, but right on the doorstep, the big threat was Maple, so we almost had a little bit of a miscue inside the first minute of the second half. Now Wexler on the big bounce. Turnaround is fair play. She's forced to come out as there was a little bit of Mountain Lion traffic there to potentially create a problem. We mentioned that the sun is sometimes a factor for the team defending the north goal. And in the second half, that is Westminster, as Molly Swift is comfortably in the shade. We'd like to take the opportunity to thank Nate Gibson for joining us at halftime. Thought it was some great insight, especially relative to how the South Central region puts their rankings together on a weekly basis. And also about the men's and women's Final Four coming to this area in 2021 to be played at the new stadium under construction in downtown Colorado Springs. It should also be mentioned that a lot of youth on this UCCS squad, a lot of freshmen, so many of them will still be here in 2021. And this program looks to stay quality for a number of more seasons. They may actually have the chance to be earning the right to go to a national Final Four in their home city, but 2019 stands in front of them. Kerr first collects that, but offside. So Esterly asked to move that a little bit further inside. Swift to go ahead and put the ball in play. We're in the 48th minute. Pushed up the right flank too far. Hinkle can't get there, so that'll turn into a Westminster throw. Challenge between Kinsey and Kerr first. Kerr first called for the foul. Originally they were ready to go short, and now Mitzi Ramirez comes over. Ramirez, a set play specialist, so typically when she's on the ball, a play is afoot. Goes far post, looking for a head. Taking the one hopper was Hopcroft. Gets into traffic and then knocked away by the Griffins. Muir puts it back up the touch line and out. That'll be a Westminster throw. Challenge over there between Maple and Ramirez. The official asks for a few yards back for the throw. Comes in. Put to the top of the 18. Popped out. Drive toward net, but wide. And that'll be a goal kick for the Mountain Lions. We're now in the 50th minute. It's scoreless at Mountain Lions Stadium. Kate Esterly with the ball. Still with possession. then tries to distribute it late. Some confusion by the Mountain Lions, so the ball comes back out, and it'll still be UCCS possession on the far side with the throw. Elisa Muir to take the throw, and Muir in the first half just passed a career milestone as that first half ended. Muir now 5th all-time in terms of minutes played for Mountain Lion women. She passed the 4,910 minute mark in her career, finishing out this match. And should the Mountain Lions be fortunate enough to play next weekend or get an NCAA bid, Muir should pass the 5,000 minute mark for her career. And she would be only the 5th player to do that, but the first ever to accomplish it in just 3 seasons. Muir is a transfer student. She played for Division I Colorado College her freshman year before coming to UCCS. So congratulations to Muir. We had an opportunity, hopefully you were along the lines with us Friday night. We had the opportunity to talk to her and senior McKenna Furman after the win over CSU Pueblo, and talked about her fitness regimen that allows her to play every game. So Hopcroft now with it, with a give and go to Ramirez. Ramirez tried to get through space but couldn't. So we may have just seen some evidence of one of the things the Mountain Lions might try to break down this stout back line for the Griffins, and that's some give and goes to try to break through the wall that is Frederick and Kellogg. Jade Kinsey now near touchline, takes the throw in to Hopcroft. Her first touch goes awry and onto the foot of the Griffins as the Griffins counter back. Hansen tries to send it out wide. No runner there, but then a miscue by Ramirez puts it right back onto Griffin feet, and then that's broken up. Hinkle can't control that first touch, and I would say that's a big part of our story thus far. First touches have not been the friend of the Mountain Lions. Okay, that's nearly woven through. Here's an attacking opportunity. UCCS forced to defend that and concede a corner kick. So now Westminster with their first corner kick of the afternoon. We're in the 54th minute, scoreless. Westminster start their runs, put right across to the top of the 6, deflected loose, and then drilled out by Lanham, and then sent right back in by Frederick. But Hinkle was moving forward, tried to push it ahead for Mills, too far for her, and Kellogg was able to come over and collect that. So a little bit of excitement there, but now just a neutral area throw in for Westminster. Griffins looking to cross it in. That's over Esterly's head. Did not touch, so that should be a goal kick, and it is. '55th minute, 0-0 here in Colorado Springs. Esterly moves forward, tries to distribute it to the left side. No black jerseys there. That was Lanham and Braun on the challenge. This pace of play is to the advantage of the Griffins. They have disrupted the Mountain Lions at every turn. But that goes out for a corner kick. So UCCS, their second corner kick afternoon, first of this half. And you can see and Griffins get there first to clear it away. UCCS will maintain possession as Samuels comes over, puts it right back to the top of the 18. Mills tries to go one-on-one with Frederick. Mills takes the turn, drives it low right across the face of net, and near the post, drilled and in. UCCS with the breakthrough in minute number 57. UCCS created a lot of traffic and a lot of opportunities, and finally the free ball, and nothing that Wexler could do. She was between both posts, and finally it was tucked underneath her for the first goal of the day. We do have a sub after the goal, as Westminster now needs to change their entire approach as they need to get level. So if one of the objectives was to play a slow pace and see if you can find a mistake and get the lead, or take it to overtime and get the draw, they're going to have to change that. And that was Hopcroft with the assist. Hinkle credited with the goal. And right away, back come the Griffins. Cannot connect with Kerr first, so it goes all the way through to Swift. For Hopcroft, that is her 11th assist of the season. She is the only woman in UCCS soccer history to have double-digit goals and double-digit assists in the same year. She's the RMAC Player of the Year, and that was her 37th point. And that ball goes out for a goal kick. So the Griffins are going to have to now figure out a way to go on the front foot. Remember, in the first half, they conceded the possession advantage to the Mountain Lions. Westminster only had it a third of the time, Mountain Lions 2/3 of the time. Just a little discipline check there by the official. So Westminster is going to have to, at some point, start pushing numbers forward. And at the moment they do that, that's going to open up more space for UCCS on the counter. Minute number 58. UCCS with the 1-0 lead. Collision, Hinkle goes down hard. She's dispossessed. Griffins tried to slot that through, but the Mountain Lion backline was able to clean that up. Ramirez able to chest it down and then pop it over the defender. A bit too far for Mills, but Mills shielded with Kroll, and the ball got to Westminster. Kroll to take the throw. Trying to direct her teammates as to what she wants to do. Looked for Hine. Esterly gets there first and nearly drilled the production. Kroll, once again, right in front of the truck to take the throw. Put it into Kerr first. Mills able to come back, collect that, clear the area. Griffins keep it in, but Lanham anticipated that and is able to just clear it to center. Tanner Sanders with a touch to pop it into the corner. Hopcroft trying to chase it down. UCCS. And that exchange of touches winds up with the ball. Esterly and Samuels. Samuels pushes it into Lanham. Lanham will go ahead. Back to Esterly. To Hopcroft. Hopcroft tries to slide it ahead. Well ahead of Hinkle, and Wexler able to pick that up. Good challenge, far side. Hansen and Muir pushed ahead. Muir gets there first, sends it back to Molly Swift. Swift drives it into the center circle area. Griffins get there first. Just goes harmlessly to the UCCS back line. Now the Griffins might have a counter here. Ramirez steps up, gets a surface on it, enough to disrupt. And that's Reiber that's down after that contact, slow to get up. When we restart, UCCS will have the throw. The official allowing the clock to run this entire time. And obviously, when it's only a one-goal match, every second counts. So that was only to the favor of the Mountain Lions. Westminster sends it out to the left flank. Now Kroll cuts inside, tries to push it ahead for Keeley. Too far for her, so it goes out for the goal kick. Swift already in the 63rd minute, taking her time to place the ball. UCC, or actually it's Westminster that makes a change. Kerr first steps out, and coming on to the field, Cassie Orr. And I'm sure this is Tony Lonk's opportunity to give Kerr first a bit of rest. As most of you know, in the NCAA, you're allowed 1 second half re-entry, so needing that final push in the goal to equalize and hope for a couple of goals or even possibly overtime takes the chance to rest Kerr first, and I'm sure we'll see her in about 10, 12 minutes to finish out the match. That midfield collision deemed to be a UCCS foul, so Kellogg will place the ball and have the direct kick for the Griffins. Swift calling out to her back line where she wants them. Driven low toward the top of the 18. All 6 feet of Kate Esterly gets her head on it to clear that out of danger. Back to Kellogg. Kellogg tries to pop it over the back line. Didn't get as much on it as she had hoped. Hopcroft whiffs at that, and it stays with a Westminster possession. Now it's onto the foot of Hopcroft. The RMAC Player of the Year moves forward, tries to slot it ahead to Mills. Mills taken off stride. And we're getting a clock stoppage. Not only was she taken off stride, she was taken off of her feet, and we are, in fact, going to get hard. So I think that's Kroll who earned the card. So Westminster gamesmanship right by the ball. Referee asks them to step back the 10 yards. And this should be, well, there's great replay of Mills pushed and forced to leave her feet. This is a dangerous area, and this is a play that the Mountain Lions have practiced from this area. So you have Sanders, Ramirez, and Hopcroft on the ball, all capable. So let's see which play they choose to run from here. Sanders approaches, steps over, gets to the back line, and it's Hopcroft who just takes it and sends it well high. So a threat does not materialize, and UCCS maintains the 1-0 lead as we're in the 64th minute now. Foul called. And a lot of chatting at midfield, and I think Ramirez or Esterly, who's getting the card? Esterly and the official in quite a discussion. So Esterly gets the card. Esterly, 2 cards during the season. That's her 3rd overall, and once you enter into the playoffs, the accumulation number goes to 8. So what will be interesting for Coach Hudson and the staff, how long do you keep Esterly in her tall frame in there? She's playing on a card. You don't want to risk a second card in the same match. But Esterly, a first-team RMAC defender. Some nice moves by Ramirez. The clinic is on. She pushes it back to Kinsey. Kinsey splits the defense, has some space, chooses to take it. Kellogg approaches, and as Kinsey tried to push it past Kellogg, she got a deflection on it to break that thread up. Muir steps up to collect it. Muir trying to find the left-footed opportunity, crosses, draws it back, put right in front over the crossbar, and that should be a goal kick, and it is. If this result holds, it will be UCCS back here to host the RMAC finals on Saturday the 16th. By virtue of the #1 seed, they have the right to host throughout the RMAC tournament. And then, as Executive Director of Athletics Nate Gibson was talking about, UCCS right now in the #1 spot in the South Central region. Should they win this match, they'll most likely hold on to that distinction going into next week. Dallas Baptist, #2. Dallas Baptist won their match yesterday. They remain in the 3rd position. Savannah Mills with the hard hit, no call. Fans wanted it. Whistle not there. Once again, we are closest to the Westminster side of the stands. Mills has some space if she's quick. Draws it back to the far post. Wexler up to that task. Now in minute number 67, 1-0, UCCS with the lead in this semifinal match. Now Ramirez collects it, starts the Mountain Lions back, drops to Hopcroft, tries to make a move. That was broken up neatly by the Griffins. But trailing was Fisher. Fisher can't penetrate. It's broken up there as well. Ball loose once again onto the feet of the Mountain Lions. Ramirez tries to go far side to Mills, too far ahead of her, and that'll be a Westminster throw. And the Griffins. And a card. Mills probably chatting a bit too much, so she's going to get a card. And actually, it looks more like a persistent infringement as the official was pointing the various spots where she committed fouls. So Mills now on a card. Mills still pleading her case. She's going to have to be careful. I can almost guarantee you Mills will be substituted shortly. UCCS very deep at that position, so no reason to keep her on the card and on the field. So right now, if you've been wondering what's going on in the other half of the bracket, Colorado School of Mines with the 2-0 lead over Metro State. That match in the 74th minute. So if both results that are on the board hold, it'll be a rematch of last year's final, with one significant exception. School of Mines would be making their way down to Colorado Springs, as this year Mines is the number 2 seed, UCCS the number 1 seed. That was reversed last year. But still a lot of soccer to play. Still have 21 minutes remaining in regulation here at Mountain Lion Stadium, just a 1-goal differential. Only 16 minutes left to play up in Golden, and the Ore Diggers with the 2-goal advantage. So that result is looking a little more comfortable than this one at the moment. Fisher breaks that up, but it goes back to Reiber. Reiber just pushes to Kellogg. Kellogg tries to go over the UCCS back line. That gets over Esterly's head, but Swift there to come out and fall on it. In with that threat was Cassidy Orr. So 70th minute, just about complete. That's intercepted. And the Griffins have numbers if they can join. Esterly shouldered Balthasar off the ball, and Balthasar was the last to touch, deemed a legal shoulder charge, and Esterly generates the turnover with the fair shoulder charge. And you heard Lanham back into the match for the Mountain Lions. Also coming in is Zoe Sims, who started the match at midfield. Challenge along the far touchline, UCCS throw. 71st minute, UCCS 1, Westminster 0. UCCS has only had 3 1-goal decisions all season long. The big double overtime win against School of Mines on the road in Golden. And then in the second week of the season, the Mountain Lions traveled to California to take on a pair of CCAA squads. The number 22 Cal side, then Cal State ways through it. Wexler comes out to clean that up before a threat. 72nd minute now, 1-0 UCCS. Might be a bit early to start talking about this, but we are scheduled. Nice little pass with the top of the cleats. Kellogg not fooled at all on that. But UCCS right back with possession, and they can start slowing it down. Muir with the deke and then pushes ahead for Hopcroft. Hopcroft doubled down, and it does go out of touch. And it will be a UCCS throw. Anyway, with a 1-0 lead, might be a bit early to start talking about post-game interviews. But we are scheduled to talk to the goalkeeper of whichever team advances. And an offside is called there. So it'll be the indirect for the Griffins. UCCS holds the 4-1-1 advantage on the Westminster Griffins in lifetime record. They won the 2017 regular season matchup here on this pitch. In 2018, the Mountain Lions went to Salt Lake City and defeated the Griffins 1-0. Then we've talked about in the semifinals last year, it goes to PKs, officially goes into the books as a tie. And then the earlier season win on this pitch 3-0. These teams are developing some history between them. Westminster, if you're wondering, will still be in the postseason NCAA bracket mix, even if this result holds. The way performance indicator works, you earn points, win, lose, or draw, whether you're home or on the road or play at a neutral site, and the number of points depends upon the winning percentage of the team you're playing against. And a lot of soccer to play next week in the Lone Star Conference. Both Dick State and Westminster would still be in the mix for one of the top 6 spots. Back for a goal kick. Realistically, 9 squads between the 2 conferences. 9 squads are vying for 6 spots. UCS would look pretty safe, as they are the clear number 1. They would look pretty safe to get an NCAA bid. We've just entered the 77th minute. UCCS holding on to the 1-0 lead. Should this result hold, the only downside for both Westminster and Dixie State out of the RMAC, and that's called offside. The downside for both Westminster and Dixie State is that they have no opportunity to play any more matches before the selection show. So they need to have a whole lot of things happen ahead of them, but also they can earn more points. Now, in the case of School of Mines and UCCS, both playing over 800, and that's the tier that gets you the most points regardless of the result. But Dixie State and Westminster, their point totals will still change because the teams that they've played, those point totals will change. So you can track a lot of this. You can go onto NCAA.com. You can look up Division II women's soccer. You can see the regional and national rankings, and then there's also a PDF table that you can drill down on if you like a lot of data and see the total points for each side. You don't actually get to benefit from the formula. And that ball goes out for a Westminster throw. As we're moving through minute number 78. The Mountain Lions putting up a wall on the line. Lanham was knocked over, and that was easily seen by the official, and UCCS will come out of that little mix with a direct kick. Minute number 79. UCCS that far away from advancing to their 3rd consecutive RMAC championship match. That goes through Tanner Sanders and all the way back to Wexler. Enough pressure that Wexler was forced to kick that out rather than pick it up. Right back onto the feet of the Mountain Lions. It's pushed out of bounds by Westminster, so subs have the opportunity to come back in. We see Mitzi Ramirez returns to the match, and I think that's also Caitlin Hinkle. And just as we anticipated, Kerr first returns. So Kerr first will be in for this final 11-minute push. Nice low drive right on net. Perfect position by Wexler. Wexler with the punt. It's deflected. Esterly looks over her shoulder. Sees that Kerr first was well behind. And then Swift smartly just waits for Kerr first to put on the pressure before she picks it up. 80th minute now. Just 10.5 minutes between UCCS and the right to advance to the championship game on Saturday. Ramirez picks up that loose ball. Sims puts it in. Broken up by Frederick. Popped up. Lanham gets to it first. Challenge with Hopcroft, and away with that come the Griffins. The Griffins turned back right away, unable to start a quick counter. So Ramirez breaks it up and dispossesses and sends it all the way back to Swift. Swift distributes it to the left side for Muir. Muir unable to control it, so it'll be a Westminster throw. They do the quick restart, as they should. They need pressure. Kerr challenged by Ramirez. Ramirez came away with it. Big bounce, no man's land, and it gets through. Nice job by Frederick and Kellogg to both shield Hinkle coming through. Sims takes a weak shot from serve as the number 2 seed. A little bit of a challenge, a lot of discussion, and also subs were lined up at the table. And it's a Westminster sub, and we're still a few minutes away from clock stoppages when it's UCCS subs with just the 1-goal lead. We are in the 82nd minute. 8.5 minutes to play in regulation. UCCS holding on to the 1-0 lead. Frederick with that strong left foot puts it into play. Muir timed that to head it out of danger for the moment. The drop back to Esterly. Esterly able to push it wide. That'll be a Westminster throw, but UCCS has the opportunity now to set their back line. Westminster trying to advance. Muir able to create the turnover and get the throw for the Mountain Lions. Minute number 83. The challenge along the touchline. Deemed to be of no consequence. It'll just be a throw-in. That goes off of Hanson and the Mountain Lions. Actually, I thought that went back out. She was able to keep it into play. Bounces loose. Esterly heads it in the center circle. And that foul, I believe that was on Maple. Esterly puts it back into play, just sends it towards the corner, and that's headed out for a throw. Minute 84, UCCS, 1-0. Second half shots on goal, 3-0 in favor of the Mountain Lions. Muir just pushes that down, and it'll go out for the goal kick. Wexler obviously going to put it back quickly. 89 and Golden. It's either going to be the Orediggers hosting the working here with just 90 seconds left in that match. Lanham comes out of that scrum with the ball and just kicks it all the way down the field toward the corner flag. Smartly, Wexler showing her goes out so she can be part of the attack. Her kick probably did. And welcome back to Mountain Lions Stadium as the #1 team in the nation, the UCCS Mountain Lions, advance to the RMAC championship game by virtue of a 1-0 win over the Westminster Griffins. And joining me after the match, freshman goalkeeper phenom for the Mountain Lions, Molly Swift. Molly, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
A terrific season and a terrific game today.
Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit about the game plan today. Westminster, obviously they were playing a bit of a defensive approach early on, and I think the Mountain Lions were ready for it. But talk a little bit about what you anticipated and what you saw today.
Yeah, honestly, our goal was just to play out of the back and see what we could make their crew. I mean, our goal was just to spin it around the field and really just try to enter their flanks. So.
And tell us a little bit about the thing I'm always impressed with as just a freshman, your ability to control the team. You're very vocal back there, and obviously early on in this season, this team accepted you as their goalkeeper, and you have just emerged as a leader this season.
Yeah, thank you. My first thing was just to stay calm during every game. I mean, I think of each save individually. I don't really think of that #1 that we have on our backs or how the game we might be tied or up. It doesn't really matter. It's just to make each save at a time.
And talk a little bit about your back line, a strong defense up the center. You, and then you move into the center backs and the outside backs.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually had a lot of center backs switch into that position today. And it really just means a lot. Their ability to win it out of the air really helps out. And, I mean, we have Elisa on that left flank that she really helps us build out of the back. And it's been really cool to watch because I haven't really had many saves on me. So.
Right. But your save percentage is high. You're a little bit modest. Your save percentage is in the mid to high 80s.
Yeah.
And that's also an opportunity to talk a little bit, too, about your goalmate, Alexis Walker. Between the two of you, a .440 goals against average for the team. And a lot of time when you have two capable goalkeepers, there can be a little bit of tension. But the two of you exemplify this whole team. It is one for all and all for one. Talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. We both support each other. I mean, we're each other's biggest cheerleaders. And it's great to talk it out with somebody else. I mean, we both know our faults and our weaknesses, but we also really exemplify our highest characteristics, as I should say.
Well, that's excellent. Well, we'd like to thank you, Molly, and congratulate you again, and we'll see you right back here Saturday, RMAC Championship.
For sure. Thank you very much.
So, once again, that is second team RMAC goalkeeper Molly Swift as we get ready to wrap things up here at Mountain Lions Stadium. Once again, your final score today in this semifinal, the Mountain Lions 1, the Griffins 0. You are watching the RMAC 2019 Women's Soccer Championship across the various platforms of the RMAC network. Everything elevated. Good afternoon, everyone.